Everybody, welcome back to Auto Scholar with Mr. B. I'm Mr. B. Today is very special. We have something special for you. We have a race car in the shop. Which is fantastic because this is something we don't get often. I don't really put myself out there to work on race cars. However, I do have a lot of experience in it. We have built race cars in the shop before. It's not something that I'm financially able to do a lot of times. So my buddy Michael, this is his e46 M3. He's got a very extensive amount of work done to this car, bigger brakes, suspension work, all kinds of stuff. And it just needs a couple of little finishing touches that we're going to put on this vehicle. And he has a race at the end of the month at Road Atlanta. So called me up, asked me if we could do it. I said, we'll give it a shot. This is a learning experience for everybody that's my student. So we don't get something like this often. So I said, let's go ahead and do it. So this will be a video series that I'm shooting on this car. I should drop 3 or 4 videos on this car for everything that we're doing. But this stuff is more reliability stuff, not so much performance stuff, but just making sure the car can stay on the track all day. One of the first things that we're going to be doing here is removing the mechanical clutch fan on this vehicle and replacing it with an electric fan. So why would you want to do this? Well, the mechanical fan on these cars were absolutely terrible. They would lock up, and when they did, the inertia of it spinning would actually explode the clutch fan, and it would send shrapnel all in the front of the vehicle, piercing major components of the cooling system. And this is not something you want when you're going into a curve on a racetrack to be skidding across your own puddle of coolant, and also is dangerous to other drivers on the track as well. So what we are going to do is we're going to take the mechanical fan off, and we're replacing it with a Mishimoto electric fan. Now, I'm going to wire this up a little differently than I would for street use. And I'm going to use some special components that I normally wouldn't use for street use, but this has to be a bulletproof system because this is a very expensive engine and it does not need to overheat. Also, I'm going to be adding a toggle switch where you can turn this on and off depending on the weather and how the car is running to make sure that the driver has just complete control over this fan. So let me take you over to the table. I'll show you the fan and everything you're going to need to put it in. Okay, so here is the fan. This is a Mishimoto fan. It is reversible if you want to, put it on the other side, but this is mounted to go only on one side of the radiator. So you need to make sure that when you're wiring this up, that you wire it up correctly and it is pulling through the radiator versus pushing into the radiator, because if you wire it up backwards, you will actually overheat your car. So keep that in mind. You have a blue and a black wire on here, and I'll show you exactly how to wire that up. We also have a toggle switch here. We're going to put this on the control panel. Mike's got a custom control panel that goes where the radio went, and so we'll drill a hole in it, put this weatherproof, just a 10 amp on off switch. We're going to need some fuse holders, or you're going to need a fuse block. Okay, so I'm going to use a fuse block because it has 5 different areas for adding fuses, and I think as Mike progresses through his career, he may want to add some more electrical circuits to this car. So instead of using all these everywhere, we're going to have all the fuses in a central location. This is about $13. I bought it from O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and you're going to need this. It's a Dorman 84601, and this is just a 4-pin relay. Okay, so relay is going to be used that way we don't have really high amperage circuit running through the inside of our vehicle. Being a race car, we want to keep the high amperage on the outside of the passenger compartment. So we're going to use this to control this fan, and then we're going to have all of our high amperage wires in the engine compartment. And you're also, of course, you're going to need some wiring. This little kit right here, bought at Harbor Freight. It works great, and it has your heavy 10-gauge wire that we're going to be using to wire this up. You're also going to need, your various fuses, your butt connectors, your spade connectors, everything to make all this connect together. If you don't like using butt connectors or spade connectors, you can, of course, solder all this together as well. But, it's just really your choice on how you join the wires. Okay, so let's go over here to the car, and I'll show you what we need to get started. Okay, so got this hose off. Now we have 4 T25s here that we need to take off. There's one pretty much at every corner. There's one at the bottom. I'm gonna try to get it from the top. I'm pretty sure I can get it from the top. This car's so low, I really don't feel like lifting it up right now. So there's one right here at the corner, but it comes in kind of from this angle here. And then there's one there at the bottom. So there's 4 of these. And once we get these off, we also need to unplug this, and you just press that and pull. And then we will also unplug this right here. I doubt I'm going to be able to do that one-handed. We'll unplug this, and then I'll show you guys how to take this fan off. And it's not that difficult until it's difficult. I don't know how to explain that any better than that, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the fan off, and then I'm gonna put it back on without the shroud. That way it's a little bit easier to see. The shroud's out of the way, and y'all see exactly how to use this tool and the 32mm wrench. Okay, I have the shroud removed already, and I've had this fan already off the car, but I want to give a real kind of close-up look of this special tool that we have here. Mishimoto includes it with the fan, which is pretty cool. So what we were going to do was going to take this tool, and on this long end right here, we're going to put this right here on one of the bolt holes around the head of the bolt of the fan. And that's going to hold it right there. And then we're going to take our 32, or you can use a crescent wrench, and I'm going to turn to the right. So it's righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. And this will break loose. Okay, you may not even need this wrench. The serpentine belt itself might hold this. And this one's been off recently. I mean, literally, I just touched it and it came off. So you loosen that up. And this is what holds that water pump. This is what holds that water pump still. So you don't have to turn with this. And once I get the fan off, I'll pull the camera up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, guys, so we got the fan loose. Now we're just going to spin it off. Again, you want to spin it clockwise, but we need to be careful because when we spin it off, we really don't know when it's going to fall. And this could fall into the radiator and damage it. So I got a piece of cardboard here. And this is a trick I learned a long time ago, that when we're taking fans off and they're this close to the radiator, get you a piece of cardboard, put it in between the radiator and the fan shroud, okay? What this is going to do, you can bend it down. What this is going to do is it is going to protect the radiator in case the fan falls into the radiator. So you spin it off. We pull it up, and there it is. And after that, we just pull the cardboard out, and that just assures that the fan does not fall and damage one of the flues of this very, very expensive radiator. And when we put it back in, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so just to show you exactly what I mean with this tool, we have our tool here, and we are going to lay it right in there. See if I can get this to focus here. And this is what's holding that pulley as we're getting the fan off. So if it's real tight, it's gonna slip on the belt, which I got a belt off right now because I'm doing some other stuff to this car. But I just wanted to show y'all exactly how the tool fits in there. Those little holes right there go around the bolt holes, and should be no problem getting it off there. Okay, so our next step, I just want to test fit this fan real quick to make sure that it fits. I may move the wiring from over here to over here, just re-zip tie it. Just cut the zip tie off and move it up here because I plan on wiring it on this side of the car. But this should bolt exactly where the factory shroud bolted up. So again, be very careful putting it in. You don't want to scrape it across the radiator. Very tight fit. It's got a little ledge this hangs on here. Scoot this over. And you definitely want to test fit all aftermarket parts before you commit to installing them. Sometimes when you install all the way, the manufacturer will not take them back. So you make sure that they fit in there good. And so went ahead and put the long bolt up here. It appears to fit in there correctly. We're going to go ahead and just rethread in the other bolts and check them out. It only has 3 bolts that holds this on. It has this little ledge right here that hangs onto the radiator. That's a pretty tight fit, so it shouldn't go anywhere. And then after that, we're going to work on the wiring. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the wiring. And at this point, if you want to go ahead and put the car back together on this side, get the radiator hose and everything back in. Right now, I'm leaving this apart because, again, I'm doing some more work to this car. So let's see how we're going to wire this up. Okay, so let's go over the wiring plan that we have for this vehicle, and then I'll take you out to the car and we'll show you the plan in action. So we have a 4-pin relay here, and this is going to be kind of the main boss of our operation. We also have a 5-position fuse box that we're putting in, but we're only going to be using 2 of those positions because we want both sides of the relay circuit to be fused correctly. All right, so this relay has 4 pins. So I'm going to show you each of the pins. We have 85, which is going to be our ground, and that is ground for the relay. We have 86, which is going to be power of the relay. So the ground that we're putting on is going to be switched by the toggle switch that we have, and our power is going to be constant. If you wanted this to only work when the car was on, you can wire this up to where this 86 power is going to be on only when the car is on. So you can pull it off of a fuse or something like that that's inside the car. Since this is a race car, we're just going to go constant. So, he'll have to remember to turn it off or turn it on. But the good thing about this is you can keep the fan on while the car is completely off for after race cool down or anything like that. So 86 is going to be power constant. Then we have our pass-through. 30 is going to be our main power to our fan. And that's in. And then we have 87, which is going to be out. Okay, so 87 pin is going to go directly to the cooling fan itself. So here is our relay, okay, with our switch here. So we have 85, we have 86, we have 30, we have 87 out, okay? Now, if you have a standard like this Dorman 4-pin 30 amp relay, it's going to show you there's a small wiring diagram on the back here, and also on the other side, on the pin side, it's going to show you the number of each of those pins, and these numbers are going to correspond with this wiring diagram that I'm drawing on the board. Okay, so my switch right here, this is going to be my toggle switch. All right, we're taking this off of 85, which is going to be our switched ground. We're going to find a ground somewhere on the car, and that's going to be our switch ground. So that's actually going to initiate this whole circuit, is the ground side circuit. Now you can initiate off the power side as well. However, with this being a motorsport application, if I have a wire running inside the car, I'd rather it be a ground wire than a power wire, because we're not following the factory recommendations for this at all. And I'd rather, if the wire happens to be in a wrong spot and it gets cut or something like that, I'd rather it go ground versus power. Okay, so now on my power side, 86 power is going to go directly to a 10 amp fuse. Okay, so we have our fuse here, 10 amp, and that's going to go directly to battery voltage via our fuse box. Okay, so 30 coming directly also from the fuse box as well. 30 power comes directly from 12 volts. And 30 coming in, then we switch it to go to 87, which will go to our fan. All right, our fan motor. Now this is going to be a 30 amp fuse. This is a 30 amp fan. And you really shouldn't push any more voltage than that through this fan. And then the ground for the fan, we're going to have to find the ground somewhere for it as well. So that's a very simple circuit. I know it seems a little crazy, but this is the safest way to do this, easiest way to do this, and the most cost effective, okay? Now you can get a fan module for this from Mishimoto, and it ties into the factory connections. I don't know how much it is. We decided not to go that route because this solution right here is about 20 bucks with the relay and the fuse box, and this is doing it 100% correct. The right gauge wire, the right connections, and I'm gonna show you how we do all that out there after this. But this is the way I wire these up. I've done several of these setups. I've also done several setups that don't include a fan. You know, we have fog lights, we have running lights, everything on these vehicles. So this is pretty much how I wire up anything single power that is a aftermarket piece of equipment, okay? So if you have any questions with this, please hit me up in the comments. I can explain this a little bit more. Some of y'all may be putting these fans on and are a little bit less experienced with electrical work, and I can help you out with that in the comments. I can also refer you to other videos that I have on my channel that explain this in further detail and how this whole circuit works. So let's get back out to the car and let's start running some wire. Okay, so here is the finished product. We have our controls right here, our relay and our fuse box. Everything is heat shrunk just to keep water out. Also laid our conduit in. It's just again to make everything nice and tidy. Also, I've zip tied the factory wiring harness and this control box right here. Went ahead and wired that down there so it's not flapping around. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn the fan on and just let you hear how loud it is. It is quite a bit louder than a factory electric fan, but it's moving a lot more air. It's just something to consider when you're putting this on your vehicle. There she is, all working. I'm not going to edit the sound for this part of the video so you can just hear exactly how this fan sounds, but you will be able to hear that, you know, if you're inside the car. And so I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there for consideration. Okay, so now since you have tested your fan and everything is working, now we just have to put the air cleaner adapter and your water hose and everything back on. Don't forget that when you're doing this, if you remove the water hose, which is pretty much you have to bleed out the coolant when you put the coolant back in the car, and go ahead and test everything and make sure you don't have any air pockets that are forming in the cooling system from removing that top radiator hose. So if you learn anything, please give me a like, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, VK if you're in East Europe. Just hit me up there, just look for Auto Scholar with Mr. B, and I have a lot of content on those channels as well. So stuff I can't really show on YouTube. So hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, of course, hit me in the comments. And we'll see you next time on Auto Scholar with Mr. B.